Okay, next job, C major scale. We're going to make major triads, building blocks of chords, essential to know, you got to learn them. So I'm going to start with C there, 1, 2, third note of the major scale, E, and G, the fifth note. Play them like this on the first 3 strings. 2 on the 5th fret and 1 on the 3rd fret. The idea with these is you can invert them, which means that I can take that C and put it up there and we end up with first inversion. Root position, first inversion. Same thing, E can go up to the top there and become the second inversion. And it gets a bit squishy up here. I can just about squeeze these 2 fingers in, which is that same root position shape up there. So in order to learn these, you can just play the like that, the top notes. What I want to do is just incorporate a couple of things at the same time. So I'll pick the G string and pluck these 2 strings here with the right hand. Do it like that. It's one way of getting a nice even sound. And instead of going like that, I'll just incorporate a little jumping around exercise so you get fluent with. So I'll go play them in that order, so you can practice a few things at the same time. So that would be the C triad in the lowest position, starting on the lowest position without using an open string. And as usual, I go around the cycle of fifths, which means that if I'm, I'll explain this now. If I'm in the key of C, then the 5th note of the C scale is G. So it means that if I start on a G chord and I go to a C chord, that's called one step in the cycle of fifths. It means I'm falling a fifth from G to C, and that's what they call in the classical world a perfect cadence, and it comes up all the time. It's one of those progressions where you go G to C. It's got a sort of finality about it, and it comes up all over. It's just one of those things you need to know. So what I'm doing in this case is the next triad I'm going to play is going to be F, because C is the 5th of F. If I use that major scale form, F, G, A, B flat, C, tone, tone, semitone, tone, as we know from before, then the 5th note of F is definitely C. And so once again, I find my F triad, which in the root position would be F, A, C, but I want to play it on these top 3 strings, starting on the lowest note possible without an open string either, so I can get the fingering down. So I know that those are going to be the top notes. I'm going to play 4 triads on in each key, just so we cover most of the fretboard. You'll be duplicating whatever one is lowest, but it's most effective for covering the useful range of the guitar. You don't need to be squashing up too much in here, so 4 in each position I think is enough. So if I've got F, A, C there, I'm going to A, C, F. I discovered that that's the lowest I can go. A, C, F. Put the A on the top, end up with C, F, A. Finger them how you like. F, A, C, A, C, F. So you end up with that same thing. And if we went around the keys, F is the 5th of B flat, so I'd be doing the B flat triad here. B flat is the 5th of E flat, so I'd be doing the E flat triad here. Around to A flat, D flat, G flat, B, E, A, D, and G. Which brings us back to C, which is why it's called a cycle. Okay, so these top three strings, I mean, you've got to learn the fingering first. You can sort of invent little funky... sorry. Which is just trying to get that accuracy of hitting only those first three strings. That's a bit harder to do. What I want to do is do these triads on the next group of three strings. So if I started on the D, G and B strings, the lowest C triad I can find is there, and I know the top notes are going to be. So same drill again, slightly different fingerings. F, B flat, E flat, so you got to figure all these out, and then you can jump to the next group of strings, which is A, D, G. Same thing again. C. There, you've got a little stretch. And round all that again, and of course you can still do them on the lower strings here. Etc. It takes a while. These are all fairly well manageable within the one finger per fret setup. If you can't do that yet, just do them up in easier positions and just do a few at a time. So you can sort of strum them. I mean, strumming those three strings without doing that one, you can sort of mute that string with this finger here. You can once again arpeggiate these. Where am I? So if we do this economy picking thing, here's a good exercise to start with that. So it's doing, by economy picking, they mean sweeping across the string that way, and it's also a version of what they call inside out picking, which means your pick ends up on that side of the E string, and then you've got to jump it back in. But it's so you can practice them in any with any sort of articulations, and of course I might as well mention it now. The major third is that C to E. If we drop that a semitone, we end up with the minor third. So we end up with minor triads, which should be practiced and learnt in all the same ways. They're not only useful for being a C major triad is not only useful for being that, it can be used as the top section of an A minor 7 chord. It could be an A flat major 7 sharp 5. It can be used in a B flat 7, if I can find a voicing for that. So these triads are just little building blocks. Good if you're familiar with them in more than just your standard chord shapes. Okay, knock yourselves out.